Good morning. We're glad you're watching. This is Citizen Extra with me, Lillian Muli. Our guests in studio as we bring you stories that will be shaping the day. I have with me in studio Mark Bichache, who's a political analyst. Also with us is Dennis Ntumbi, political analyst, and Charles Kipkule, also a political analyst. Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome to Citizen Extra. Before we get into our discussion this morning, the Salaries and Remuneration Commission has reviewed salaries of various state officers, including the President. Under the new structure released by Sarasaram yesterday, the cut will affect salaries and allowances for MCAs, MPs, senators, governors, and the President, among other top earners in public service. So let's listen in to this report by Wilkis Tanyabwa.
Officers in the next government will certainly earn far much less than their current peers under a new structure released by the Salaries and Remuneration Commission today. Leading in the pay cuts that will take effect after next month's election is the President, whose monthly salary will drop by just over 200,000 shillings to 1.4 million shillings from the current 1.65 million shillings. The Deputy President will take home 1.2 million shillings a month from the current 1.4 million shillings. Speakers of the National Assembly and the Senate will be the second highest paid public officers, taking home 1,155,000 shillings, 12.5% less than their current salary of 1,320,000 shillings. Cabinet secretaries, governors and the Attorney General will see their pay chopped from 1,056,000 shillings to 924,000 shillings monthly. Deputy governors and MP salaries will be slashed by 88,750 shillings a month to stand at 621,250 shillings.
We will streamline the agencies of government.
But it's senators and members of the National Assembly who will feel the pinch of the SRC revised pay most. Gone are several allowances that have made Parliament a highly sought-after gravy train. The next lot of MPs will miss out on sitting allowances, mileage allowances, and an interest-free car grant that affords them the big cars synonymous with MPs' lifestyles.
There is absolutely no reason why both the Senate and the National Assembly members should earn a salary and at the same time draw sitting allowance for the plenary sessions. Otherwise, there will be many sitting and standing and walking allowances. So this is removed.
Until now, MPs have been raking in huge amounts in monthly mileage claims, that is, the distance they cover to and from their respective constituencies or counties to Parliament buildings in Nairobi. For example, a Member of Parliament from a constituency that is a distance of about 1,000 kilometers from the city, a weekend trip back home would mean a claim of 180,000 shillings under the rate of 90 shillings per kilometer. 2 trips a month would earn such an MP 360,000 shillings. If the MP were a member of a committee, they would be entitled to 5,000 shillings a sitting. 2 sittings a week earn them 40,000 shillings every month. Some MPs, however, belong to up to 3 committees, and for turning up for parliamentary sittings, an MP earns 5,000 shillings per session, with 4 sessions every week, yielding 80,000 shillings a month, over and above the basic salary of 710,000 shillings.
And we all know that there were claims even up to Kenya shillings 2 million per month. And this in itself takes care of any of those abuses. The savings accruing from the new salary structure is a total of Kenya shillings 8 billion 853 204 952 on the various items or the categories of the payments.
The SRC now replacing the mileage system with a flat monthly rate for various zones. These moves geared towards bringing down the wage bill from 52% of the revenue to 35%.
Indeed, that's the latest we're getting from the SRC as regards the pay cuts, and we are expecting the President to talk to the media following this move by the SRC, and we will be bringing you that very shortly on Citizen Extra once we get that feed. With me in studio this morning, Mark Bichache, Dennis Tumbi, and Charles Kipkule. We want to talk about this latest move by the SRC. Mark, I'll begin with you. The timing, 27 days to the election, and the fact that most of these seats where we now see pay cuts are not going to be as lucrative as they would have ideally been. What's your take on all of this?
You know, the reality of Kenya is that only about 77,000 people earn above 100,000 a month, and when you take that figure into consideration against a working population of about 20 million, then earning $1 million shillings is still a huge deal for a lot of Kenyans. But also remember that a lot of people run for this office not because of what the salary is, but because of the opportunities, quote unquote, that come with it. So what needs to happen, in my view, I don't think the Commission has done enough to tame those salaries. I honestly believe that an MP should not earn more than 400,000 shillings a month. That's because if you compare our parliamentarian wage bill as compared to the rest of the world, and as per GDP, we are grossly inflated in how much we pay our MPs and senators. And number two, I think it also needs to be reduced because it's supposed to be a calling. It's supposed to be a servanthood position, that you're going there to serve people versus to aggrandize wealth. And that distinction needs to come up quite more often in African conversations, because leadership is not about wealth. Leadership is about service. So I don't think anyone running for parliament should do so based on how much they're earning per month. You miss the mark entirely if you think like that. So my take is that it should be reduced even further. They're saving 8.8 billion. I think they should save more, and I think that would also help in taming the people who join parliament in order to do business. I think that's critical.
And Dennis, you know, this is not the first time there's been attempts to cut the wage bill. We know that sitting members of parliament have previously connived their way around ensuring that their allowances and salaries are not slashed. And when Mark talks about servant leadership, the question is, are we there as a nation yet? What's your assessment of this move by the SRC?
Certainly, Lillian, the move by SRC is a good move, but I'm seeing it as a PR exercise, given the fact that we are in a political and election season. And I don't see it seeing the light of day, given the fact that it still has to go to Parliament for ratification. And why am I saying that is that because if you look at the highly contested seats during these elections, are those ones with hefty budgets. Areas like the Senate and others have been largely ignored because they don't look like they're lucrative. So you're looking at MCAs, MPs and governors seats being heavily and highly contested because they have some money in it. So certainly cutting the salaries of politicians in this country, we know, is essentially touching a live wire, which certainly won't see the light of day. And what we're likely to see in the next government is an increment of the same, perhaps even four times higher. But what we're supposed to be seen as promoting certainly is essentially the Public Service Act, which promotes values and integrity of service. Our salaries are supposed to be driven by values of service and not necessarily by a salary. But you know, Sarah Salem said that they are saving 8 billion. How would you be saving 8 billion when you're asking for 80 billion over the next 4 years, and with already a bloated wage bill of about 100 billion that was approved for 2017-2018, with a 20 billion year on year? So I think what she's saving on is on abuse and bleed. Because on matters of mileages and all that, and sitting allowances, even the issue of sitting allowances is a complicated issue because they sit to approve matters. And I think the last time, even when she pushed that proposal, she was asked, how do you expect us to approve your bill as SRC when you essentially don't want us to sit and discuss this? You're fighting a culture. You're not just fighting a salary. And we need to approach this in a different way, because I'm sure her proposals will not see the light of day. And I would have proposed that she escalates the salaries. You know, get off the politicians, look at the non-elected civil servants, take that to the floor of the House, then scatter, come up with the parliamentary bit, put their proposals through, then come up with the executive team, put their proposals through, so that at least we know where the problem is. There are good proposals in there that will just be thrown out because you touch the politicians. So there's wisdom in how we do this, because we are fighting a culture, not just fighting the issue of cutting salaries off.
Right, and Charles, just going back to what Mark said there, the fact that a lot of these candidates eye these seats not, particularly or not specifically because of the salaries, but because of the opportunities that lie therein. What's your assessment of Serem cutting salaries?
Thanks, Lillian. I think starting on this, it's a good thing. The SRC has finally shown some teeth. I don't know if it's going to bite, but at least it's shown some teeth that they are able to do something. And it sets a good, in motion, a good conversation on the issue of the wage disparity in our country, where we have extremely high income earners and low income earners and a very wide gap in between. But on the issue of the one you've raised about what Mark, my colleague, has raised, I think it is critical to note that whereas the MPs have been earning a lot of amounts of money, especially outside their salaries in terms of allowances, which should not actually be entitled to them, I agree to a large extent that MPs, most of them do not go even to leadership because of the motivation of the salaries. It is the opportunities which are there. Look at when there was an attempt to remove the CDF from their control. They caused a problem. They went and they said, if there is a problem in that legislation, show us the problem, then we amend it to make sure that we retain control of this. The issue was not on that they really wanted to have the CDF, but it is the opportunity, the financial opportunity that it accords them, and also the power that is attendant to these positions that they get. So that you see someone, even if you say you earn $1 million, Bob, in a month as a legislator, in 1 year that translates to around 12 million, but their lifestyles go to the, even campaigns, they spend hundreds of millions in those campaigns. So we are seeing something, there is something bigger than this. There are opportunities where this power that comes with these positions are used to self-aggrandize. But in terms of the SRC discharging its mandate, I think it's a step in the right direction, and it's taking our country, at least starting the conversation on the disparities in wages, and also trying to cut the wage bill. If it goes from 52% to 35%, I think we are making a good step in the right direction, but it needs to be cascaded down, and at least also try and address even these low-income earners and see if you can also standardize their salary, so that we also address the issues of the cost of living for these low-income earners, and also trying to reduce the gap in between.
Right, and according to Sarah Serem, the ultimate goal of the SRC is to bring the wage bill, which currently stands at 52%, to sustainable levels of below 35% of the domestic revenue. We're continuing with this discussion, but before that, let's cross over to Kisumu County, where Laura Acheng is on standby. I want to get reactions from residents there in Kisumu. How have they interpreted this, and for them, is this a win? Laura, what are people on the ground saying?
Yes, thank you very much, Lillian Molly. And here in the county of Kisumu, of course, we're on the ground to pick views of the people on Sarah Serem's move to slash the salaries of senior public servants. And now, if I could sample the opinion of some of the people here, so what do you think of that move?
It is true that the SRC yesterday took a very good move to reduce the salary of public officers and the public officers and state officers. No, we know that that huge wage bill has brought a lot of problems for Kenyans. One, those money could be used to open the factories that can create employment for the youth. And we know that the MPs are not going to be happy with that. But we are taking this time to tell them that if in case they are going to go to Parliament and maybe pass a bill that will increase those wage bills, then we are going to be with them this time, because we cannot allow them to do that. After all, it is what has made the politics to be very much competitive. You see, people are fighting in politics because of those huge amount of money that they are getting from the coffers of Kenya. So we are asking the SGR to do it properly and make sure that the law is amended so that it becomes a law. Because if it does not become a law, we know what the MPs are going to do in the parliament. We have seen them even other days that when they want to benefit, they talk with one voice. But when there's a problem of politics, they talk with different voices. So today we want that bill to be put into a law so that nobody is going to go against that law. Yeah.
Do you think members of parliament will actually accept to pass this into law when they resume?
Thank you very much. And this is a long overdue issue, and I think Serem has just done it. Too late, but what I can say is that these people will anonymously, because when it comes to their salaries and their perks, they become one thing. And I think, and I will wish that Kenyans should stand up and support Sarah Serem's move, because this is what I've just brought down the wage bill and all this kind of scenario. So my urge is that they go there soberly and discuss this issue. And Kenyans are ready and watching what they are doing. And what we are saying is that it's a good move, and these salaries are so big as compared to East African neighbors and all this. Kenyan civil servant, public officers are really highly paid, and this has really brought about corruption and all these kind of scenario. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Lillian. And those are, in a nutshell, the opinions of the people here. You remember Sarah Serem said that should the salaries be implemented, the salary pay cut, then we should be saving 8.8 billion shillings, which some of the people here feel that will go a long way in setting up industries and creating employment for the people. So those are the views of the people here in the county of Kisumu. And I throw the baton back to you, Lillian, in studio.
Thanks for that, Laura. Achieng, a celebratory mood there from some of the residents in Kisumu County celebrating this move and saying that it should be supported, but also, you know, expressing a little bit of concern over the fact that members of parliament have traditionally been known to oppose these moves. Let's now talk to John Wanyama, who is in Eldoret, Uasin Gishu County, and get reactions on the same from that end.
Good morning, Lillian, and here in Uasin Gishu County, I'm in Eldoret streets. Here, residents have different and mixed reactions over Sarah Seremu's decision yesterday just to cut off salaries of MPs and all political leaders. I would like to talk to a few residents here just to give us their reaction. What do they feel about this? Maybe if I start with you, how do you feel about Sarah Seremu's decision of cutting off salary from our leaders?
My point, I'm Mr. Letting. We welcome the deduction of the MPs and the MCAs. It has been overdue, but now it is the right time. Anybody who is applying for the seat should know what salary he is going to earn. If he doesn't like, he should step down. That is a very good move, because the country needs something like that. Congratulations, Sarah Serem. Thank you.
Okay, I'm John Samoe from Eldoret. According to my views of the deduction of Sarah Serem salaries of MPs, President, Deputy President, judges and civil servants of Kenya, as we are resident of Uasin Gishu, we welcome very much the two of Sarah Serem, because those people, politicians, have done nothing to us, because their money goes their pockets, and their money there's misuse of money, because we have taxpayers. So we welcome it very much. Thank you.
Okay, maybe if you can move closer here. What your views on Sarah Serem?
Yeah, personally, I'm Samuel Ezekiel. I want to welcome the move taken by the Sarah Serem's Commission. Even though it has come a little bit late, it would have happened a long time ago. And the salary that she is proposing is still high. We as Kenyans, we are proposing the salaries. There's a proposal of that salary still below it. And the money claimed back should be channeled to spur up the economy of this country. So we are 100% in the support of Sarah Serem's move, and we are still urging her to still cut the salary down.
Lillian, if I can speak to the final person, maybe, how do you feel about this?
Okay, I'm very happy. I'm very happy about the take of Sarah Serem, because actually it will assist Kenyans, because that money could be channeled into other sectors of the economy. And also the number of the members of parliament should also be reduced in order to cut the costs, because salaries has been taking a lot of money and we don't see the leverage that is giving us as a country. So we support Sarah Serem. My name is Duncan Rono. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lillian. Those are some of it from residents from here, Uasin Gishu County. And the major question people are asking, will this be implemented, and whether Sarah Serem is ready to handle the muscle of MPs who might fight back. Back to you, Lillian.
Questions surrounding whether this move will actually be implemented. At least that's the mood on the ground there in Eldoret. Let's cross over now to the coast, and Patrick Kanga is in Kisauni. And we'll also be getting reactions from there, still on the same issue. That's the SRC cutting salaries. Let's listen in from the coast and hear what people on the ground are saying.
Kwa majina naitwa Gilbert Ngosi, mkazi wa Mombasa, Kisauni Mlaleo. Kwa kusema kweli siku ya jana tumemwona Madam Sarah Serem amekata mishahara wa serikali, kwa utumishi wa serikali, kuanzia rais mpaka watu wa chini kama magavana na maseneta na wabunge. Kwa Kenya maisha wa Kenya imekuwa magumu. Haya mambo nitasema kwa mambo mawili. Hii ni kuchezea wa Kenya shera. Mbona hawakukata pale nyuma Kenya wakati wamekuwa wakiumia? Wameona wakati wanaelekea uchaguzi ili wanatafuta kura, wa Kenya wapikie kura. Mbona hawakukata kule nyuma? Wa Kenya wameumia, wengi wamekufa, watoto kusoma ni shida, maisha yamekuwa magumu kabisa. Hata unga kununua, hata kupata shilingi 10 mwananchi wa kawaida imekuwa ngumu. Wameanza kukata hii mishahara kwa sababu uchaguzi ni kesho, ili wa Kenya wapikie nini kura. Naomba wa Kenya wasipikie watu kura. Jambo la pili, ningependa kuambia Kenya kwamba wa Kenya wameshuka. Si ile Kenya ilikuwa kitambo, mambo ilikuwa matofauti, lakini kwa sasa ndugu zangu naomba ya kwamba tuangalie mrengo mwingine, tuachane na hii serikali ya Uhuru Ruto, tupikie na hasa kura. Asanteni.
Mimi kwa majina naitwa Hamisi Mjomba. Na ile shughuli iliyofanyika jana naona ni nzuri sana. Ingawaje sisi wananchi wa chini haitatufaa, lakini ningeomba serikali ambayo itakayoingia mshahara, kwa sababu utaanza wakati huo serikali nyingine imeingia, pesa hizo ziwe zinaweza kuingia kwa pande pengine wa madaktari. Tunataka kuona tena migomo, madaktari, walimu na pengine hospitali, manasi pia wasi wanaweza kugoma. Pesa hizo mabilioni 8.8 billion zipelekwe mahali kama hapo. Sisi wananchi wa chini hatuwezi kupata direct, lakini tunaweza kupitia kwa sehemu kama hizo kuzipata. Kwa hivyo tunaomba serikali itakayoingia, ndani ya Jubilee, ndani ya NASA, itumie pesa hizo kuhakikisha wananchi wanapata vile vitu vya muhimu zaidi.
Kwa majina naitwa Dickson Misuku, mimi mkaaji hapa wa Mlaleo Kisauni. Mambo ya mshahara ya kukatwa, hii ni urongo. Sababu kama wanasema wamepunguza mshahara ya wabunge wako wapi na watu wameenda nyumbani? Kama wamepunguza pesa ya serikali, wapunguze, watoe pesa ya watu, wapunguze pesa yao. Kwamba ati wanapunguza pesa yao irudi ingie. Hizo pesa ikikatwa itaingia wapi? Ya pili, unga yenyewe ni shida. Wakenya walikuwa nalia hiyo mambo ya unga. Saa hii wamekuja na mtindo ati wanakata mshahara ya hawa watu. Hiyo kukata vile wanakata, usifikiri wale wamekatwa mshahara yao ati watampigia hiyo serikali kura. Hiyo imeenda. Vile wamekata ndio hiyo kura yao Jubilee wamepoteza. Na ni hayo tu.
Halo, mimi kwa majina naitwa Mama Moi hapa Mlaleo na najulikana kama senetari. Mimi ningeomba wasikatwe mshahara, maana hilo neno ni ya urongo. Mimi nimezoea kukoroga sima na maziwa, leo naomba nitie maji kibuyu chenye maziwa. Hata kubalika. Serikali iangalie mambo, lakini si watu wakatwe mshahara. Mimi nimekataa kama mwananchi.
Kwa majina naitwa Jackson Katu. Mimi ninashangaa ya kusikia kwamba jana SRM kusema kwamba amepunguza mshahara. Muda wote tangu serikali ingie wamekuwa kuzungumza mambo mshahara mpaka dakika hii imefikia ndio last minute ndio wanaamua kuambiwa Kenya kwamba amekata mshahara. Itatusaidia na nini? Unaona? Hiyo 8.8 billion ambayo nasema eti itakuwa ni haisaidii chochote, wala kuna pande yote itasaidia. Sababu sasa hii kuna Wakenya wanalalamika. Sasa hivi ninavyoongea nikiangalia labda watu ambao kwa nyuma yangu wanalia na njaa. Hajui kama jana walikula nini, asubuhi wajui watakunywa nini, sasa hajui kama watakula nini. Kwa hivyo hiyo serikali ni kuzengua watu. Hakuna la maana. Tunakufa njaa.
Haya. Kwa majina mimi naitwa Mkenya. Kwa majina mimi naitwa Mkenya Mlala Hoi. Huwezi tuambie umepunguza mshahara wa rais wa bunge ili hali ile pesa inayobiwa wakina Waiguri na NYS ni mabilioni ya pesa bwana. 200 na bilioni 147 huwezi niambia bwana umefanya kitu bwana. Kwa hivyo bwana, hilo ni jambo la kuchejeli sisi kama wananchi wa Kenya bwana. Na kwa nini wapunguze wakati huu ambao Raila ndiye anaingia kwenye usukani bwana? Hiyo haiwezekani hata kidogo.
Kwa majina naitwa Agri Mchesia na tuko hapa Mlaleo. Hivi sasa hata kama wakati tunatoa maoni namna hii, watu wameshaamua na mtu ambaye atakomboa hii nchi, watu wananchi wameshatambua kwamba ni nani. Kwa hivyo serikali ambayo iko mamlakani kwa hivi sasa wameshashindwa, na tunangojea tarehe 8 tuwaweke kando, kwa sababu mkombozi wa hii nchi tayari watu wameshajua ni nani na uamuzi watu wameshafanya tayari. Sisi tunatambua ya kwamba huyo mkombozi ndio atajua kwamba mpunge atapata pesa ngapi, gavana atapata pesa ngapi, mwananchi anafaa kununua unga pesa ngapi. Kwa hivi sasa watu wameshachoka na tunangojea tu tarehe 8 tupike tufanye uchaguzi. Na hivyo tunasema hatutaki fucho katika hiyo tarehe 8. Sisi tunataka tupike kura ya amani, hatutaki vita, hatutaki mtu aende makwao. Mtu apike kura akiwa na uhakika yule mtu ambaye anachagua. Lakini tunatambua kwamba kiongozi watu wameshatambua kitambo, tunangojea kutumbukiza kura kwenye tebe. Asanteni.
That is Kisauni, and that is what residents there are saying. At least that's their interpretation of this move by the SRC. And we know that members of parliament are the ones that have been hit hardest by the Salaries Commission, which slashed the earnings of state officers, including the president, to save the country, the blooming wage bill. At least what we know as of now is that the figure stands at 8.8 billion annually. Let's get a reaction from a sitting member of parliament, that's Nakuru Town West MP Samuel Arama.
Huwezi kusema ya kwamba hii pesa wamepeana 600 and something, hiyo ni pesa kidogo sana, na mimi nakataa. Tukirudi bunge lazima tuangalie ni nini waliangalia, evaluation walifanya nini, kwa sababu a member of parliament zile kazi tunafanya ni mingi sana, apart from oversighting all the executive. Sisi pia tuko na kazi tunafanya kwa constituency. Ukiambia mbunge ati sasa unataka aende kukaa kwa kamati bila kulipwa, hiyo pesa wanasema ni kidogo sana. Ingekuwa tuongezwe pesa, na hiyo tukirudi pale lazima tuende turekebisha. Member of parliament ni mtu anafanya kazi ya maana. The one thing Serem Commission must know that a member of parliament huwezi kusema ati unaenda kukaa bunge without coming to the constituency. If for example the vehicle I have kuenda bunge na kurudi in one weekend in 10,000, if you multiply 10,000 times whatever days you unaenda bunge, otoanisha na ile pesa anasema, kwa hiyo 600 and something you are going to take pay as you want, I think this is just joking. That is not acceptable. We are not going to take that money, kwa sababu hata Seremu mwenyewe yeye anaenda kupata pesa mingi kuliko hata sisi. Hatuwezi kukubali hiyo pesa kidogo namna hiyo. Lazima tulipwe mileage, lazima tulipwe sitting allowance. Ile allowance zote zilikuwa hapo, lazima tulipwe hiyo. Hiyo siwezi kukubaliana naye, kwa sababu mimi najua ile kazi tunafanya ni kazi ya muhimu ya nchi.
Reactions there from a member of parliament, and the narrative is hatuwezi kubali. Mark, when you listen also from reactions from across the country, the interpretation of the electorate over this matter, Will these pay cuts have any significance whatsoever on the economy? Help us, you know, just unpackage this and simplify it for the electorate and for the Mwananchi. What does this translate to?
You know, these pay cuts, 8.8 billion, is enough to settle the nurses' strike. You know, that's the funniest thing. If you saved 8.8 billion, you're able to pay the nurses. That tells you that what we are spending on what we call state officials is so much money, and it's key to note that these are just the allowances. So can you imagine if we save 8 billion from allowances, we put an entire class of people in the tens of thousands back to work. This is how significant this is for the Kenyan economy. Number two is Kenyans are tired of having a parliament that is aggressive against taming its own greed. It's too much. And every time there's a new sitting of parliament, there's an increase of salaries. And that's why I think Sarah Serem has set the pace now by saying this new parliament should be willing to come in at a lower salary. And what I find funny is we as Kenyans are sitting here and saying that the parliamentarians will be greedy. Now that's a funny statement, because we are the ones who are voting them in. We have an election in August 8th, but we're already predicting that the people we will vote in will be greedy. So the problem is, I as a Kenyan, who am I voting for? Because the opportunity is now. I need to put the candidate who's running now to task and ask them, will you accept to earn a lower salary? That should be a question that we are posing to parliamentarians and governors and senators that are running now, so that they're able to not go into parliament and then change their minds. That is what should be happening. So in my view, yes, this is a very impactful thing to this nation, because 8.8 billion, if it's plowed back into the economy and put in the hands of, for example, let's talk about the nurses. If you give that money to 100,000 nurses, 50,000 nurses, whatever the number may be, then they're able to pay for more, they're able to buy more, and if they're able to buy more, then that money spreads more equally in the economy. If, however, you pay a parliamentarian who every time they have a cough, they fly to London, you're building the London economy more than you're building Kenya. So in my view, take away that money from the parliamentarian, give it to the ordinary Kenyan, who will spend it in Kenya and therefore build our economy.
Dennis, I want to get your thoughts on that, not to digress, but Sarah Serem yesterday appeared to rule out any increase in pay for nurses unless the employers say they have the 40 billion needed to do so. And yet, as Mark is saying there would, you know, ultimately or essentially be some funds there that could be diverted therein to solve the particular stalemate that we're seeing with the nurses.
Certainly, the interesting thing is that the proposal by Sarah Serem essentially is a proposal that is a mere PR exercise that will not see the light of day. And it's actually a political statement, to be very honest. And essentially is to show the public that as a government we are doing something to tame the large wage bill increase. But you see, the health sector is in shambles. If you look at the remuneration for nurses, city council askaris take home much more than a nurse takes home in this country. It's a devastating aspect. There's no grading, there are no financial incentives. Essentially, healthcare in this country collapsed a long time ago, and it is yet this is the most devolved function. We don't want to put effort where effort should be put. You want to make a proposal that will not see the light of day, so that you're seen in a political year as though you're doing something. And you know, and also you can see some of the Wananchis are defending their members of parliament. It is tragic that we are in a devolved government, that the politician doesn't need to give handouts. Service delivery is way at the ward level, but the Mwananchi will still defend the politician based on the fact that don't cut their salaries, it is our government that is coming in, it looks like this government wants to subjugate on the earning rights of the others. We still don't understand many other
Dennis,
things.
I mean, still on that,
Yes.
I mean, how then would you describe this as a political move? Because, you know, both parties stand to lose. The new pay implies that should President Uhuru Kenyatta win in this year's election, he will start at a lower salary. And basically, you know, all the parties involved here would lose at the end of the day.
It's a political statement, because, Lillian, for real, it will not see the light of day. You touch on the salaries of politicians in this country and nothing will move until they even increase on themselves and whatever it is. Why wouldn't you make proposals that are functional, that you know they will make the light of day. We have industrial issues in this country. We have nurses on strike going almost to 50 days, you understand? We have critical issues based on our wage bill. And Sarah Serem, she is not saving anything. She has asked for 80 billion shillings over the next 4 years. That's an increment of the 100 billion that has already been passed, of 20 billion additional year on year. So she's not saving anything. What actually she has proposed is in terms of wastages. But if you look at the kind of money, the Kenyan politician is almost number 3 globally in terms of how much they earn. The Kenyan politician, the 5-year contract, the guy takes home almost about 150 million shillings, which is astronomically bloated. Touching the salary of a politician in this country will not see the light of day. And let me tell you something. With the mix of independent candidates, that means that the government will need to use more money on a parliamentarian to try and pass the agendas during the day. This coming parliament will basically be pay for play, and that's a fact. And if we don't vote people who are basically driven by integrity and the value system, that proposal will not see the light of day. And Sarah Serem needs to focus on where the issues are. Look at the health crisis. She's even touched the salaries of the military teams, people who basically can't speak anything. I think honestly we need to look at where the rubber meets the road in this country and deal with the salary issues, you know, sector by sector, and not politicize this thing just because it's an election year. Yes.
Charles, from what you heard from the Mwananchi there, a lot of them don't seem to understand how this will trickle down to them, and indeed of what significance it is to them in particular. They're seeing this, particularly in Kisauni, they're seeing this as a political move that of course is in the interest of the ruling administration. You know, will these pay cuts have any significance whatsoever on the economy in the long run, and particularly for the Mwananchi?
I think the challenge is in terms of translating these savings made from these pay cuts into bread and butter interventions, things that will actually touch the lives of ordinary Mwananchi. You remember way back in 2013 when the Jubilee administration came in, they said that if we do not have a rerun in the election, then we are going to use that 6 billion as savings and inject it into some interventions that was mainly the USO fund, and there was a sort of continuity where people knew this money shall not be utilized here, it is a savings, then it's going to another intervention. A few weeks ago, I think you also saw in State House, the President was launching some ambulances, and he was saying that this is money that is accrued from savings in some interventions. So the trick here is to translate these savings into interventions or direct them into programs that affect the day-to-day lives of the ordinary Mwananchi. Otherwise, it shall not make any sense to Kenyans when you tell them we have saved 8 billion, but they don't see where this 8 billion goes, because it disappears into another hole, and then probably it goes into some projects that become corruption and everything else. So the trick is basically just try and communicate to Kenyans that, well, we have saved from 52% to 35%, the resultant the savings is now going to the ordinary Mwananchi. That is number one. But secondly, again, there is the critical issue of communication, because Kenyans do not seem to understand the function of the SRC, because you realize that there is this assumption that since you are in an election year, then the SRC should not work or should not do anything. I choose to remain optimistic and see that we are going into another elective period in our political calendar, where we are going to elect a new set of leaders who are going to serve for 5 years. So in these 5 years, we have an opportunity to lay the ground rules and say this is going to be your remuneration packages for these 5 years as elective officers. But also, I think the debate should now move away from only the political leadership and go down even to the executive in government, all the ranks that have been affected by these pay cuts, because I have gone through the proposals. It does not affect only legislators. It goes down to even members in the cabinet, PSs, military commanders. It is rank and file, high-level income earners in government who are eating the most in the public funds. So the trick is communication. But I think Sarah Serem, the commission, has really a lot of work to go down and engage Kenyans and let them know, because when you had even the MP for Nakuru speaking clearly and opposing this, it raises a challenge. You remember in 2013, when before MCAs were elected, Kenyans knew they were going to earn 79,000 shillings, but when they were elected, they staged a cold strike they did not do anything, and they just twisted the SRC until their salaries were increased from 79,000 to over 300,000. So this, you are seeing already, there is a sign of resistance from Parliament and even definitely at the assemblies through their caucus. So what needs to be done right now is for goodwill from the top political leadership. I'm hoping that even these leaders should be forced to make this issue of pay cuts a manifesto agenda, an agenda that are saying we commit ourselves to give political goodwill to these proposals and making sure that we protect them and ensuring that we save more money for Kenyans. Minus the political goodwill, then I do not see it seeing the light of day.
Okay, and those are your thoughts on this topic. We are taking a very short break. We're back with more in the next hour of Citizen Extra. Stay with us.